If I know one thing about horror, if I know anything about horror films, I know the Scream franchise. You can't really see it all the way, but I have the script of the first movie on my bookshelf. I used to read this joint a lot. Kevin Williamson had originally titled this film Scary Movie, which is funny based off of the parody that the Wayans Bros made. I have the Steelbook up there. I still need to collect all the 4Ks. And I also have the Woodsboro Murders. Signed, actually. I'm just kidding, it's not signed. I love it. All right, I'm not gonna make this long. We're gonna get right into this little tier ranking of my favorite franchise of all time. Okay, so we have 7 tier rankings to go through. The first one we got is personal, where I will be ranking my favorites be switching a lot. We're gonna be ranking the opening sequences. Third tier is characters. Fourth tier is suspense. How edge of our seat are we? Fifth tier is all the kills. Sixth tier is motive. And our last tier is the climax. First tier, personal favorite. My number one. Do I need to say it? Bitch. Yeah. Yeah, let me stop. I'm joking. Obviously, it's the first one. I mean, come on. I don't even need, do I need to explain it? What this movie did for the genre as a whole. This is the movie that started it all. This movie is one of the most iconic horror films of all time. What do I need? I can just leave it at that. What do I need to say about it? And pretty much everything that I can say about it, I'm basically gonna say in all the other 6 tiers below it. So yeah, you know, right after the original, I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna put the second one. The second one is right up there. Honestly, there was a point in time when I enjoyed the second one just a little bit more than the first one. It was just bigger, a little bit more theatrical, but the second one is it's a good time. I would say this is everyone's least favorite, maybe. I have the third one in third place. And here's the thing. We don't need to talk about the voice changer. We don't need to talk about it. I've accepted it. The voice changer was a thing. Gail's bangs were a thing. The reason I have it so high is because Parker Posey, she made that entire movie for me. And the more I watched it, the more I appreciated what she was doing. I have thoughts about Roman, but like I said, I've come to enjoy it. And I also respect Roman because he's still, to this day, the only Ghostface who did everything by himself, allegedly. Up next, I'm gonna put Scream 4. And just like Scream 3, I have a character that I latch onto. Jill, even though the true colors don't fully come out until that final act, she is one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise. This was also Wes's last Scream movie. I love the thematic commentary on remakes, the kid Robbie, how he was live streaming everything with Charlie. Very, very ahead of its time. And even Jill's okay, I'm speaking too soon. I was about to go into Jill's motive about the famous thing. We gonna talk about it. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6, 5. Okay, I'm gonna just say it. 6, 5. 6, 5. 5 is trash. I have a feeling it might be low a lot on this list. And my problem with the 5th one is that it really boils down to the killers and why they were doing what they were doing. I don't know. All right, let's get into the openings. This is easy. Bloop, bloop. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna put 6 after 5. And then, ooh, ciao. Yup. Yup. Okay, let me explain myself. Nothing is topping the original, period. That 12-minute opening is probably the best opening in all of horror history. They plastered Drew Barrymore's face all over that poster. The people thought they was gonna see the girl in a horror movie with the blonde wig on, and they were wrong. Hollywood's biggest star at the time died in the first 12 minutes. And I want you to put anybody in Casey Becker's shoes in that big house in the middle of nowhere and get that phone call, and y'all would be scared. Y'all would be scared.
Oh, I am scared.
Y'all would be shaking in your boots.
I'm shaking in my boots.
But then we have Scream 2, the movie theater opening. I don't love seeing two beautiful black people die in the beginning of my movies. But it's iconic. I mean, Jada hollering at the movie screen.
Bitch, hang the phone up and star 69 his ass. Damn.
Don't go in there. Don't do that. Don't do that. Omar getting stabbed through the stall. Jada literally being murdered in a crowd full of people. But you see how chaotic this crowd is for this movie. It's just a terrifying situation. She does that wail. It's so dramatic. I love it. Then I decided to put 5. And I know I said 5 is going to be low a lot, but I really do appreciate us having more time with Roger L. Jackson, the voice of Ghostface. We don't really get a lot of time with the voice of Ghostface unless he's saying like a little one-liner.
If you hang up on me, you'll die just like your mother. I'm gonna slit your eyelids in half so you don't blink when I stab you in the face.
And show y'all bitches something. See, I will tear some shit up. I swear to God.
It was just nice to see Roger get the chance to show more of his voice acting skills. He has one of the best voices in the industry, period.
Would you like to play a game, Tara?
I told you I don't know these movies. I don't ask me about something I do know. Ask me about It Follows. Ask me about Hereditary. Ask me about The Witch.
And yeah, this is literally a copy and paste of the first one, but I don't know. The banter with him and Jenna is so good. How Jenna is so scared, how brutal it was, and they could have had a little bit more of the chase stuff going on. But yeah, no, it's great. It's great. Then I put the 6th one after this. We can all collectively agree that what 6 did right with the opening was revealing who the killer was, because that was like a what the f are we what are we getting into? I heard like 20 gasps in that theater when that happened. I saw it with my friend. I looked over him. I was like, I think Samara did great. She has a fantastic scream. But I think for her character being so stupid, and maybe I guess how short it feels, I just don't really have it that high. Scream 3, I don't hate that opening. It just feels very, we're supposed to care about this boy, but we don't. Scream 3 has the highest production value. The music was such a big part in that movie as a whole. And then last place, I got Scream 4. We know why. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. The movie within the movie within the movie. And can I say this too? I am not the biggest fan of the stab movies. That entire concept, while I think that it's cool, and for these movies, it makes a lot of sense with the theme of this franchise in general, especially the first one on what it was commenting on. But as it goes further and further into the stab movies, it just gets too convoluted. We're doing a bit much here. All right, let's move on to the characters. Take a little guess what I'm gonna put in the first place. Yeah, beep. The original, yep. And do I need to say his name? I am a Stu Macher stan. He is my favorite character in the entire franchise. And it really boils down to Matthew Lillard's performance of Stu. Because if you go back and if you read the script, the way that Kevin Williamson had written his character was extremely one note. But then Matt added all those like extremely manic
See, we ask you a question, and if you get it wrong, booga, you die.
Silly, goofy mood, expressions. And I saw an interview with him where he said he doesn't even know why Wes and all of them were letting him do that. He looks back at it and he's like, I don't even know why the hell I was doing that. But no, like, it worked. None of the killers really match up to Stu for me. For me, okay? Also, peak Randy in this movie.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
I love Randy. Young Gail and young Dewey, seeing them have a little crush on each other. The introduction to Sydney as a final girl. Her outfit during the climax. Her screaming, running around with the blood. Like, it's so good. And Billy Loomis's crazy ass. Every time I think about him, I think about one of the very first few lines that he says when he enters the movie. He climbs into Sydney's window, and after she asks him, like, you know, what the hell are you doing here? He's like,
Watching television, The Exorcist was on. Got me thinking of you.
that is so sweet. I'm gonna put 6 after 1. Even though I prefer the original first 4 films, I love the core 4 in this movie. I think that their bond, the chemistry is stronger from what they went through in the 5th movie. Seeing Tara and Chad have a little romance. Mindy gets a little girlfriend. Sam messing around with the neighbor. Like, everybody has a love interest, and I love that for them. They deserve it, okay? And excluding, you know, the 3 killers who shall not be named, the core 4 and the emotional beats that are hit in this movie is what puts this so high.
Hey! Murderer! What's wrong with you, bitch? You got a problem with me? She knows what she did. I didn't do anything!
I'm going to beat you the up on my dead grandma, on my dead uncles, on my dead father, on all the dead in your family. Bitch, on Pop Smoke, Drop Smoke, Center Smoke, Little Snoop, Little Gap, Little Cat, every mother that's dead in the cemetery underground. I'm going to beat you the up on Brooklyn shit.
I'm a bit iffy on the next few, but I think I'm gonna put 3 next. And outside of the original 3, the reason that this is so high is because Jennifer Jolie is in my top 5 favorite characters from this franchise. I think to the casual viewer, if somebody was just walking by as you were watching one of her scenes, they could kind of brush it off as her being a bad actress, but her performance is so nuanced and intentional.
You're obsessed with her?
And you're obsessed with her
daughter!
All right, easy, Geraldo. Tell us the truth.
What the hell are you guys getting at?
And then the part when her and Gail are running around the mansion.
Is he dead? Dewey! Dewey! Come on!
They're holding hands and she's doing the like.
We'll be safe if we stick together, won't we?
Of course, why?
It's so camp when Gail punches her in the face.
My
Lawyer like that. Oh, I'm so mad. I'm so mad that she died. Like, she shouldn't have died. They need to bring her back. Bring her back, bro. I'm gonna put 4 after 3, and I have 2 words for you, and that is Jill and Kirby. The Kirby that we see in the 4th installment versus the Kirby that we see in the 6th film. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. Yeah, Kirby is also in the 6th movie, but you know, I prefer the Kirby in the 4th movie because I don't know who the newer one is. But Jill, Miss Jill Scott. Oh. Jill Roberts. I think leading up to the climax, she's pretty bland, standard final girl, not much to really go off of. But oh boy, after we find out that she's one of the killers, that girl puts on a goddamn performance.
Goddamn!
That girl is genuinely mentally ill, and I'm obsessed. I mean, this is just silly. I use that meme all the time. All the time. My girl was determined. Okay, she is the definition of whatever it takes. I'll put 2 after 4. I like Hallie. I wish that we would have had a little bit more time with Hallie and with Derek, which, fun fact, if you didn't know, but you probably know, the original killers were Derek and Hallie. They was gonna make the black girl wanted to kill. We still haven't gotten a black killer. Derek is alright. Love Jerry O'Connell. All I think about is Stand By Me when I see him. Little Vern. Who else is in? Oh yeah, Randy. Oh my god. They kill my man in this one. Debbie Salt's creepy ass. Mickey. Sarah Michelle Gellar as Cece. Yeah, this was a cute. It's cute. It's cute. It's cute. It's cute. But just not my favorite. And then in last place we have Scream 5. Now you're probably like, what kind of damn sense does that make? How you gonna put 6 in second place and then put the 5th one? It's the same motherfucking people. Listen, I do not like Richie and Amber. I do not. The character of Wes, naming a character after Wes Craven, and then you didn't really do anything. Okay, they didn't. I don't know. I was excited when they dropped that too, because I like Dylan Minnette. I think he's a pretty good actor. They threw in a little edgy bleach blonde dyed twink and named him Wes, which automatically kind of puts a target on his back. I'm pretty sure a lot of people were like, oh, he's probably one of the killers. He should have been in the movie more. Like, they could have swapped him and Liv or something, the girl with the pink hair. The core 4 are better represented in the following film. So all right, let's move on to suspense. And y'all gonna get mad at me for this one. I have to put 6 in first place. I have to, okay? When I was in that movie theater, my heart was racing. That never happened with any of the other Scream films. The 5th one and the 6th one were the only ones I saw in the theater. But as far as 1 through 4, I always knew who the killer was because half of my siblings were into those movies. And it was always on cable. So I for real saw the main clips before I really saw all these movies in its entirety. But Scream 6, that Ghostface is without a doubt the most brutal. And I was genuinely scared for them. When he stabbed up Jason in the opening by the refrigerator, I was like, oh. The bodega scene with the gun, the scene with Gail when she finally got her first Ghostface call.
Can you hold, please?
Huh?
I thought my girl was gonna die. I thought it was over for her. Next up, I'm gonna put Scream 5. Everything that I said, most of what I said about the brutality of this new age Ghostface can be applied in the 5th one as well. And I think because also we were so fresh to this new group of teenagers that we were being introduced to, it was kind of like, okay, we have to figure out how these kids act in situations when they're thrown in peril. Is they gonna fight? Is they gonna run? The opening with Jenna Ortega, that was stomping on her leg and then the knife through the, it was just Roger Jackson's phone call, the scene where Wes is in his kitchen grabbing multiple snacks, opening the cabinets and the fridge, and they're playing with the audience, expecting something to happen or pop out, but it doesn't. That segment when Jenna is in the wheelchair in the hospital and she sees the dead body and she's helpless. Yeah, even though the 5th one is my least favorite, I cannot say that I was quite tense in that movie theater. I'm gonna put 2 after 6, and the first thing that comes to mind is that scene where the car crashes and Sydney and Hallie are stuck in the back seat. So they have to crawl through the hole and ever so slowly crawl over Ghostface.
Don't see it.
I still get a little pang of anxiety during that scene. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna front. Me personally, you know, I would have ripped the mask off and probably stabbed him up in the face. But nevertheless, you could say there's some tension in the scene with Cece with her phone call. Oh, the scene with Gail when she's in the sound booth and you see the killer moving in the background along with her. Yeah, that was, She's running down the halls and trying the doors and she's like, fuck. Good stuff. I will put 1 next. And the reason that I have the original so low, even though outside of the opening sequence, which is suspenseful as hell, I think that what kills the suspense in the first film, it's not hard to guess who the killer is. It's right there. Who else was it gonna be? Just look at the way like these dudes are looking at each other.
I'm about to nut, oh no, I'm about to nut, oh shit,
It's always the homos. And you could say for the 1996 audience, especially after they just killed off Drew Barrymore in the opening, that it was kind of like, oh, anything can happen. But the killers are very obvious to me, and that's why I have it so low. 4 goes next. This was the first taste of meanie Ghostface. Roger's voice acting during the phone calls was more menacing.
Think of me as your director. You're in my movie. You got a fun part, so don't blow it. You're the dumb blonde with the big tits. We'll have some fun with you before you die.
The dark tone that 4th one had, it was, you know, hold on. Matter of fact, I'm sorry. I'm switching these two. Because the more I think about the 4th one, that shit was kind of scary. Yeah, I'm gonna put the 3rd one last because I don't look at the 3rd one as suspenseful. I look at it more so as fun. All right, let's move on to the kills. I want to put Scream 6 as number 1 because that had the most brutal kills in the entire franchise. Now, does that mean that they are the most inventive? No, the kills in these movies are stabs. The art of the stab was on some other when Mindy's girlfriend got the knife in her stomach and he was twisting it. Then he threw her ass off that ladder. Samara getting gutted in the alley. Jason getting gutted up in his apartment. The psychiatrist getting the knife in the, it was like the nose or the eye. Oh my God. I forgot to mention in the suspense section, another one of the reasons that I have Scream 6 in first place is because of that fucking train sequence. That was probably the best part of the entire movie. The way that the lights were going in and out, them being in New York and like, yes, you're surrounded around people, but also, bitch, that don't mean nothing. Mindy got stabbed up and ain't nobody noticed until homie started screaming. But yeah, oh my God, that scene with Mindy, that is extremely suspenseful, terrifying. And she didn't die there, but had she died, when Sam doubled up on the knife stabs and just... Cold-blooded. I'm a little stuck between the next two where I have part 1 and part 5. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have, you know, on part 5 so much, saying I was gonna put it low, but Wes's death with the knife going through his flesh. What a moment I will never forget. Sam stabbing the boyfriend 50,000 times. I don't love Dewey's death, especially with the explanation of who killed him. But yeah, Judy's death, getting killed in broad daylight on the front porch when Amber is lit up like a Christmas tree.
Kill you!
It's all yours, bitch!
Then I'll put the original after. I originally was going to put this in first place just because of how iconic the kills are. Casey Becker being hung up on the tree, Sydney throwing the TV on Stu's head, Tatum's head being crushed by the garage door. It's classic. It's fun. You know, that's staying there. That's staying there. I'll put 2 after. A pretty underrated kill from this movie is one of the cops that are supposed to be looking out for Sydney. When the car crashes, like I think the pipe was like through his head and you can see like his hand twitching. That was nasty. Randy's death is meh, you know, the rocking band. We don't see anything. Hallie just gets a little slice. Debbie's shot. Mickey's shot, but I enjoy Cece's sequence. She gets stabbed a few times in the back, then thrown over the balcony. I'm okay with this here. Wait, what's left? 4 and then 3. Yeah. The third one goes in last place because of how tame the death scenes had to be, unfortunately, because of Columbine. The MPAA was all over their ass over violence. It's whack, but it's understandable. You get like 2 stabs and then the camera cuts to their body on the ground. And then 4, honestly, 2 and 4 can be switched because, you know, going back to the mean ghost face, I think about Olivia, that was a mean death. I think that was the first time they did the stab through the hand. Charlie was throwing her ass all around that room, and then her intestines were just hanging out like, oh, The cop Anthony getting the knife in the forehead. Yeah, I think everything else was pretty much a gunshot or just a little jabby. Oh yeah, the publicist, she got thrown off of the building. That was fun. But yeah, 6, 5, 1, 2, 4, 3. All right, let's get into the motive. And off the bat, I gotta put 2 in number 1. I think that Debbie
Billy's mother
had the most respectable motive here. This girl and her friends murdered her son. Yes, your son was crazy. Yes, Debbie, you are crazy. But I get it, you know? She's a mother. Mrs. Voorhees, right? It's good old-fashioned revenge. Any mother is going to kill for their child.
Surprise, Sydney.
And as far as Mickey, although he is one of the least suspenseful killers, like it was so obvious, he disappears in the second half of the movie. I fully believe that he is psychotic and that he is killing people for the sake of killing people just to be famous, just to blame it on the movies. I fully believe that, but more so the ranking is so high because of Debbie. I'm gonna put the original next. You know, killing classmates, killing the principal, killing your girlfriends, plural, because Casey and Stu went out at one point and Billy attempted to murder Sydney. Killing or attempting to kill your girlfriend over her father sleeping with your mother is crazy work, right? But when the chemicals are not right in your brain, it checks out. You could go to any high school and pick out 2 teenage boys who probably act like this. People murder each other over the craziest things. You know, maybe I have it this high because I love Stu. Yeah. Even though I hate the 3 killers in the climax of 6, I'm gonna put it in 3rd place because it looks a little hypocritical with everything that I said about Debbie, which is the same thing here. It's well known that Scream 5 was emulating Scream and Scream 6 was emulating the second one. It's a family affair. 2 kids and their dad teaming up together to do a few murders to avenge their brother and their son. It happens, you know. The pig goes on an entire rampage monologue about the bond between a dad and his son, and it's like whatever, all right, but it doesn't work for me. That entire climax does not work for me. But the reason we're talking about the motive here, the reasoning, I get it. Once again, some people are crazy, and people will kill for their family. We have part 3, 4, and 5 next. I think it's fair to do 3 next. And then 4. Oh. And then 5. Yeah. So part 3 with Roman. As I said earlier, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that part 3 is most people's least favorite. Mostly with the lack of gore and the magical voice changing box. But also the third act with Roman, you know, like this like whiny ass.
God damn it, everything you had that should have been mine!
God, why don't you stop your whining and get on with it? I've heard this shit before.
Stop!
Incel film bro who's just monologuing about being abandoned by his mother. But as I said, that family ties, they don't play. I don't know. I've really opened up to Roman because I initially was like, because you know, when he takes off the mask, Sydney is like, nigga, who the fuck are you? He's like, wow, I'm your half brother, the one who was abandoned. Charlie in Scream 4 has similar motives that Stu had in the original. He did it because he was in love, and so did Stu. Stu was definitely in love with Billy. Let's cut this. Let's cut this. That peer pressure.
Stu, what's your motive? Billy's got one, the police are on their way. What are you gonna tell them?
Peer pressure. I'm far too sensitive.
He was feeling was because he wanted to please. He wanted to make him happy. And so did Charlie. He wanted to make Jill happy, and all Jill cared about was getting famous. For real, I would have 4 higher, honestly, especially in this day and age. Like, people do anything to go viral, to become famous. And that is another one of the reasons why I love part 4, because especially for 2011, like that was so, oh my, that was so ahead of its time.
What world are you living in? I don't need friends. I need fans. It's sick, right? Well, sick is the new sane. You had your 15 minutes. Now I want mine! I mean, what am I supposed to do? Go to college, grad school, work? Look around. We all live in public now. We're all on the internet. How do you think people become famous anymore? You don't have to achieve anything. You just gotta have up shit happen to you.
I know people who don't like Jill because she comes off as new age, whiny.
Well, I just want to do this because I want to be famous.
And it's not a new thing. Mickey did it because he wanted attention. But there's something about Jill and the way that she went about it that just feels so Gen Z, even though she's not Gen Z. And she would have 10 million followers on TikTok. I often think about what would have happened had she gotten away with it. Then we got this damn part 5.
Because our movie has stakes.
Girl.
Richie and Amber met off of a subreddit, huh? And then the thing about the fandom, toxic fandom. You know, these days when making films and such, it's all about fan service and people going back and forth with each other online. We know how mentally unstable, chronically online people are, but this just, it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't do it for me. No. Richie is not giving. Amber is a fake ass Stu. I don't like it. And it has nothing to do with the actors and the way that they played the performance. It's the script and in part the direction. Anyways, I don't want to talk about Scream 5. Let's get to the last tier. The climax. Let's go backwards here. We're gonna go from least favorite to most favorite. My least favorite climax out of all of these has got to be... I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm done talking about it. It's a repeat of the original. What am I supposed to say here? Scream 6 goes next. I have made multiple comments about how not a fan. I think the blocking and the staging and the setting, that's all fine. But the performances and the whining and this little sick, psychotic trio family, the projection on the screen. I don't even know how to explain myself. Just know I don't like it. Scream 4 goes next. And even though I love Jill, I think that the climax could have been a little bit more grander. They went back and shot the whole hospital sequence after a test screening with the audiences, and they gave notes, told them that it just didn't really feel complete, which I agree.
Now get up, bitch. Come on. Get your skinny ass out here.
I'm not really crazy about hospitals, if I'm being honest. And you know, Jill's death is a gunshot to the chest. It's my girl could have went out harder. Rest in peace, girl. And then it's pretty much it's pretty much lined up for you right here. 3, 2, 1. I don't hate the climax with Roman. They were really going at it. He was beating the out of her, but she was also beating the out of him. The big Hollywood mansion with all them running around. Yeah, no, I'm not mad at it. Then Scream 2 with the theater, Derek coming down on that platform, being tied up, Sydney turning the tables on the killers yet again, and using the set design and set production and lights and props to throw them off, the little peephole shot. It's like a play of its own. They're putting a play on the stage. They ain't got no audience though. Yeah, I love the second one. And finally, 4th time's the charm for first place. Nothing is topping that climax for the original. It's too legendaric. I don't even know if that's a word. Sydney running around outside this house, climbing the fence, running through the van, that little peephole in the van, the breakdown in the kitchen.
I'm feeling woozy here.
My girl's stressed the out when she turns the tables on them. The phone call with Stu. You hit me with the phone, dick!
Did you really call the police?
You bet your sorry ass I did.
My mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me.
I'm at a loss for words. I feel like I haven't been explaining myself so well because I just expect you to get it, okay? I expect you to get it. But you know, this is it. This is it. We got the original in first place a lot. As I said, the 5th one in last place a lot, and then we just got a little mixy, you know? So that is my tier ranking of the Scream franchise. Hopefully nobody gets upset. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. We'd love to have you. We have a lot of things to talk about. I will also link down my first 2 videos that I put up on my channel down below. I did a deep dive on the 2004 camp cult classic Catwoman, and I also made a video on why I think The Cat in the Hat is a horror film, so go check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.